Welcome to a new day in the championship. I'm greeting you with my beautiful voice this morning. I woke up 15 minutes ago. I apologize. So, so now we are giving you another exclusive action here. This is our seminar by this gentleman who is one of the best players of the world, as you know, in especially last, I would say, 5 years. And most important for us, he is one of the most modest superstars you can ever see in Backgammon world. So we appreciate him joining us in this event we are having here. And let's give a hand to Zdenek.
Thank you, Anda. So thank you all for coming today. I will be talking about modern approach. So first, I'd like you to introduce to what it is like kind of in theory and compare it to old school approach, what I call. And then, of course, we will have fun with some positions where I will explain all the examples. So now we will spend like 5 minutes talking about theory and some, well, theory stuff, and then we will get to the positions. So what you may be familiar with as the old school approach, what I think are the rules. You hear that in backgammon, there are many rules in backgammon, right? Like you should always make the 5 point, that when you've got 10 checkers in the zone, you should always blitz and these kind of things. But then you hear like, well, there is an exception to this, there is 5 exceptions to this, and well, this is not how rules should work, right? I mean, when there is a rule, it should be a rule, and well, that's why I say in backgammon that there are no rules, and there is a different approach to everything, to every position, which is explained by these rules, and that's modern thinking, where we basically base everything on logic, on implications, and ideas and facts which we can see in the future. That's why, if you know me or if you've been following some of my videos, why I mentioned so much just looking into the future, understand the game, and that's going to be the key. So what are the advantages of the modern thinking? So besides, it will improve your thinking just outside of the box in general, not just in backgammon, because, well, we just use this kind of logic and implications just generally in life. We will never get lost in a position because we will always have a way how to think about anything. We will always know what to look for. If we don't, we will analyze it, and then, well, maybe we get a help from our friend. And we will try to analyze it and understand it in the right way. So the best what we will achieve is we will be confident in our moves. It's not like we will be playing a match and then, well, we will be hesitating on some moves, and then just with the analysis we will confirm whether we made the right play or not. I want to show you that it's possible to be confident about your play, even though you see it for the first time, you don't know anything about the position. I want you to have the power to prove that you can make the right play and be confident about it, which will result in that you can play faster, you can play more confident, and basically you will play better. So this is a position which I actually made up. Well, you can see that this is not like a real position, but it shows perfect idea where I can explain what's gonna happen, right? As you can see, the pip count, it's 17 pips. We are 17 pips ahead. And what I'm pretty sure that basically new people to the game who've been studying, let's say, for a year or something, they will just play 8-5-6-4, right? And normally there would be like nothing wrong with that. And basically, I mean, I would play it maybe 2 years ago or something. But, well, now, if we understand the real position, what's going on here, right? Because, I mean, it just looks nice. That's like what we normally do, like 8-5-6-4. We say we're just making a prime, we're making 3-point board, and that sounds beautiful, right? I mean, we can hear it all the time. 3-point board, beautiful, best points in the game. But is it really the thing, what's going on here? Well, not really, because how will ever in the future our board matter? In this game, I mean, we will never hit our opponent in the next 5 rolls, right, at least. So why should we make the board when, especially when we can make it anytime? Like anytime we decide, we can make the board. What really matters here in the future is if we play 13-8, well, suddenly in the next rolls, every time you roll double 5, double 4, double 3, there's a huge difference, right? Because if we play 8-5-6-4 and next time we roll double 4, I mean, sure, it's great, like we just roll double fours, but we can't really clear the 13 point. And there's going to be a huge difference whether we play that 8-5, 6-4, and we roll double four, or whether now we play 13-8, next time we roll double fours or double fives, well, we basically won the game, right? So, and by the way, we should have queued before the roll, so whatever. So this is basically where we want to see what matters. And let's say you would have played this position in a match, and you would play 8-5, 6-4, and you wouldn't know why this is the right play 13-8. Well, this is where basically, I mean, now I'm going to explain it why, right? I mean, I just explained why. And these are the things, when we don't understand the position, what we want to search. We want to search what matters in the future. So what we would find out, in the future, board will never matter. We can make it any time. What matters is we need to clear that 13 point, and we now see all the differences they are. And this is how we prove that this position is basically right and that these moves make the most sense. So hope this is clear now. I will have like 10 positions there, but if there's any question like between the positions, just feel free to raise your hand and just ask if you want to add something. Otherwise, I've got this position which occurred in a match, and we've got 4-3 to play. I don't know the race. Well, again, race, so many times race can be important, race doesn't have to be important. We never know. What I care about is our feelings about the current position and about analyzing what's really going on right now. So, what's good in life, of course, is also looking for the reward, right? I mean, we want to always gain something, whether it's whatever. And how to improve this position? Well, we have basically 2 or maybe 3 choices. I mean, I'm not going to talk about running to the 13 point because let's just say we want to keep the anchor now. Then we've got 2 options. We can play 13-6, just kind of, well, yeah, terrible move, exactly. Or we can play 2 down and have some fun. And now, how to analyze and again, how to prove, I mean, how to be confident about this, because we are often, when we didn't basically start this kind of thinking, we are sometimes scared to do these moves because we don't understand when should we be open to them and when they really matter and what's behind them. So basically, what we can understand, again, is our feeling, right? So if we, let's say, I will give you an option to make the 9 point. Now, I guess all of us would feel extremely grateful, right? I mean, if we can manage the 9 point, our position was this, well, now it's this. I hate this. So it was here, and now we can improve so much our position, right? So we can all feel that 9 point, if we manage to make the 9 point, it's awesome. Now, of course, we can all see that, and now the bad part, the negative part, well, what's going to happen if he hits us there? That's the risk. I mean, we are all taking risks sometimes. So now we have to ask ourselves, is the reward worth the risk? So what's the risk really? I mean, we play 2 down and he rolls a 6. Well, do we care? I mean, we are not the happiest people in the world if he hits, but like, what changed? Nothing basically changed here, right? I mean, he rolls a 6. He's got a blood there, we can shoot back. If we shoot it, we win. We can re-hit there, we are still in the game. So basically what I'm saying is, we were here. We have a potential to be here. If it goes wrong, we are here. So this is basically what's worth the risk, right? And we can see the next play is just a huge blunder because this is the only thing what makes sense. We don't want to miss out on this opportunity, and this is how we basically feel the positions. And again, this is a huge mistake, right? So now we can see and feel how kind of obvious it was when we explain it in this way. Even though we can easily miss it on the first time we look at the position. And this is basically what will be happening in all other positions and all kinds of ideas what will be connected to this. So here, we basically were supposed to leave a shot because it got such a huge impact, such a huge improvement for a small risk, right? Now we've got this position, 3-2, 6 pips behind. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it don't. We will see. And again, what would we be approaching here? We've got one big question, right? Whether to play 18-13 or not, because that's the big deal here, what's happening. So if we play 18-13, what are we accomplishing by the move? Well, we are saying that we are giving a shot, so we have to immediately analyze and see if it matters, if we care or not. And what do we gain? Again, important part, what do we gain? We always want to gain something, right? So let's analyze that. We play 18-13 and we leave a shot. So how much it matters if we get hit? Well, if he rolls 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, he's basically clearing the 13 point, what was our way to win, one of our ways to win. So we kind of care a lot because we will be on the bar and it's going to be extremely difficult to hit. So again, from this position, now we are getting huge risk that we can lose the game immediately. But okay, still can be right if there is some advantage to that play. So what are we really gaining? What feeling we have that we just gained if we get missed, right? Well, if we go to the 13 point and we get missed, we basically gained what we could done in another move anyway. We escape the checker, but it's not difficult to do, right? I mean, we can just escape with another roll and we don't need to risk absolutely anything. So again, that's why we should not do that. Because again, we were here, we have a potential of downside to be here, and we can only gain this. So this is again how we express our emotions. We put it into the position and we found that 7-2, or 7-5, 7-4, this doesn't matter. This is a small picture. Big picture is we don't want to leave a shot because of how we feel of risk and reward. Now, more complex position where not too many things are clear. Again, we can look at the race. Again, we can see doesn't matter too much. I mean, this is super complex position. And, not super complex, but again, two options, right? 13, good. Hit 2. So if we hit 2 or if we play 13-8-6-5. Now, if we again look at the upside, downside at everything, we play 13-8-6-5. What can happen? How can we feel? Well, if he rolls a 1, it's negative feeling, right? We don't feel so well. Everything else, he's either going to escape or, he's always going to escape if he doesn't do that. So we can either feel negative or neutral, right? There's not like a real positive thing that he has some kind of role where we are actually super happy. But, as you mentioned very nicely, if you hit 2, well, we will still have negative feeling if he hits us, right? That's okay. But now we've got that positive feeling, positive chance, something to hope for if he misses. We've got that reward we are always looking for. So if we hit twice, we've got the reward. If he misses somehow, we can have a good Q potential as well. And that's what matters again. So basically, we are deciding in this position. And again, I'm glad that it was kind of obvious for most of you. But basically, we just on these even sometimes obvious positions, because for somebody it's obvious this, for somebody it's obvious this, we want to train the feeling how to, these are the best positions when you feel, when you would have made the right play, how to see the story behind it. And basically the real decision was whether we do this and we have a decision between negative emotion and positive emotion because it's got some upside, it's got some downside, or if we play 13-8-6-5, where we can only feel negative emotion or neutral emotion. So, well, we definitely choose the one where there is also positive emotion because, well, that's just what we want, right? Now, this 6-6, oh, it's good music. I like that, actually. 6-6 here. So this is, again, completely different. Another completely different idea and something we want to be always focused on. And again, in the future, in the next row, what we want to be searching in this position. And we always want to see what's going really on, right? So we've got two choices. We need to make the bar point. That's 2. We need to play 9-3. And now we have a choice between the last one. Either again 9-3 or 8-2. Now again, what to specifically focus on right here? So if we, again, the only thing what's going on, like really the only thing what's going on is whether opponent draws a 1 or not, right? Because if we play a2-2, we slot the point. So if he doesn't roll a 1, that's exactly what we want, right? I mean, we want to have the point slotted, and because of the better structure, better flexibility, we can make the point, which would be nice, and not just play these two, which, well, we don't want to do that because it's inflexible and just not good. But of course, it's a risk. But now the real question, is it really a risk? Because again, we want to look specifically into the future. And if we look at it, well, double ones, I mean, he would have made a 5-point anyway. 2-1 is kind of the only thing. 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, he's always making he's going to make the 5-point anyway. So it's like, there is no downside on the 1. Like, if we leave a shot, I mean, if we know that he's going to roll a 1, we just lost anyway. So that's, especially with the cube in the middle right now. So if he rolls a 1, it doesn't matter what we play. We're just going to lose. So we only want to focus on the future where we know, where we think, where we hope that he doesn't roll a 1. And that, in that position, it's clearly better to just play to the 2, because that's what makes sense. So again, here another clear example where this would be, let's say, unfortunate mistake, because here there is like implication, 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 and nothing at all speaks for playing 9-3 twice. There's basically no reason at all. So I'm going to compare it, for example, to doubles, right? I mean, you play doubles with your partner and you are discussing. So this is the way how you want to discuss the positions. Look into the future and see what really matters, because if somebody could give me an argument why to actually play 9-3 twice, I mean, I would welcome it, but I'm sure that I would give more reasons why 8-2 would be better. So again, this is basically the way you want to do that. What I could hear, or what may be the mistake in the doubles, that your doubles partner would, let's say that I don't want to play 8-2 because I don't want to leave a shot. Well, okay. Valid argument, but is it? Because as we spoke, all the ones will make the 5-point anyway, so there is really no downside absolutely at all, and that's what's proved. That's what matters there. All right, 4-2, so this is going to be obvious position, then another one as well, but again, the topic will be bigger picture to take from this. So usually we have this position, and as we just spoke a few times, we always want to think like, what's going to happen? What's the matter? What's the most important thing here? So we enter on the 2, or on the 4, and we've got two options. We can either hit on the ace, or we can hit on the 13. Now, what will definitely matter the most on our opponent's roll in the future is the big deal if he rolls a 1 or if he doesn't, right? That's the only thing we can all feel, and that's this is the simple fact, right? We can all see that that's what's going on. Like, if he rolls a 1, if he doesn't roll 1. There's nothing else. That's why it will be so simple. So now I'm going to only ask you, what position would you prefer if you know that he's entering, that he will roll a 1? What position would you prefer if he doesn't roll a 1? Or, I don't know what I said. So if he rolls and if he doesn't. So if he doesn't roll a 1, let's say, so if he dances, well, if we enter on the 4 and we hit there and he doesn't roll a 1, okay, it's great. I mean, we have nice position. We can all feel it. Yeah? I mean, we don't need to describe it. We can just feel it. If we hit with a 2 here and he doesn't enter, again, I mean, it's just great. I mean, I don't know actually which position I would prefer. Honestly, I wouldn't know, because that can increase our gammons, that can just close the board. We all feel great in both positions. Honestly, I can't say what I would prefer more. Maybe this, but again, I'm not sure. I mean, so it's probably same. We can all feel that it's, let's say, same, right? But now, what if he rolls a 1? Well, we enter on the 4, and let's say we hit 3-2-1. Well, if he rolls a 1 now, well, I'm not feeling well. If he rolls a 1, 1-2, 1-1, 1-4, 1-3, I will have 1 or probably 2 checkers on the bar, and I'm about to lose the game if I don't hit him back. Not so good, because the alternative, hitting on a 13, he rolls a 1, he just anchored. Okay, I mean, I'm not happy that he anchored, but like, we will still win the game. We may not win the gammon, but we will win the game. So now, we've got a strong preference, which is super important. And again, yes, this is an obvious position, but I mean, in others one, it doesn't have to be as the last position, which will be here. It will be nice one based on basically this thinking. So that's why, of course, now 15-13 is the clear choice because we've got strong preference. We don't have a preference if he dances, but we have strong preference if we know that he's rolling a 1. Now, same position, except he got 1 checker on the bar as well. Now, does it change? Well, of course it does, yeah. Exactly. Now, if he doesn't enter, now actually it will matter. So we enter on the 4, and if he doesn't roll a 1, what do we prefer? Well, now we strongly also prefer 3-1 because we really want to close him out. So if we would have played 15-13 and he dances, we still got a lot of work to do. Like, we will have to hit here eventually. Now, what do we prefer if he rolls a 1? So we enter on the 4, and if we play 15-13, he rolls a 1, he anchors. Okay, I mean, we will still win, but okay. We enter on the 4, we hit. Well, suddenly we don't care too much that he's going to hit us, right? We actually may even prefer it, but again, not sure in the feeling what do we really prefer. But let's say if he rolls a 1, now we don't have a preference. Okay, but we have a huge preference if he doesn't roll a 1. But now, it's in the way of 3-1. Because we don't want to let him anchor, and that's what, well, you hear all the time. You don't want to let him anchor, because that's terrible then. And you should not be afraid of this, because if he anchors, let's say you hit on the 13 and he anchors, you can super easily lose the game anyway. So that's important fact. What was, for example, for me, 4, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, huge problem. I thought like, well, I'm just going to hit on the 13 and I'm always going to win the game. Well, I was mistaken because, well, we can still lose so many, I mean, 15, 20% of the time, whatever. I don't care about percentages. But about if he anchors up, we're going to have a huge problem and we are not going to win the gammon. So that was important. Now, something completely different because, well, we've just too many information about hits, about the future, and so on. Let's move on to another very interesting topic, which I call, personally, failed closeouts. So first, a little bit of theory, 1 minute, because I don't like theory either. In failed closeouts, how do they look? What does it mean? It usually means that you are super many pips ahead, now 52. You've got 4-point board, 5-point, you have got very developed position, while your opponent basically anchored. So you failed your blitz. You failed to close him out. Usually in these positions, opponent doesn't have anything because you've been blitzing your opponent from the start, right? Somehow he entered and somehow you have to just move the checkers around. Now, what always works, what's always true. What do you want to do? What you want to accomplish? Again, it's all about accomplishing and what you are trying to say by your move. Well, I mean, I know that if I play against my opponent, let's say who starts, makes the anchor and then looking for a 1. That's not the case in failed closeouts. What you want to do is not making the anchor because, well, what's the anchor good for? Like, again, in the future, I mean, anchor generally, of course, it's good. I mean, it saves you, it's an asset, you can't get hit, whatever. But now, what's the anchor good for? Like, next roll, what you want to do? You want to escape, right? So why would you basically get stuck? Anchor is just making you stuck. You want to escape. So, well, so escape. Don't make the anchor. Don't get stuck. Just go and maximize everything. So once you see a failed closeout position, as I described what it is, you don't want to make the anchor. You want to go out. You want to just put everything, all the power, all the numbers just to go out and cause your opponent the most trouble because he can't hit. I mean, he's on the bar, but in the future, he will not hit you. Well, he will, but you will not care because he's got no board and he will not have the board for the next few rolls. So, again, if I show you this position, you can see failed closeout, perfect example, 51 pips ahead. It can be 50, it can be 70, it doesn't matter. We've got 4-1. Just don't play 9-4. I mean, failed close-out position. You know the idea, what you want to do. Just go out. You don't care about the anchor. You just don't care. You don't care about him hitting you. You don't care. You want to go out. 9-4 is basically a waste. Why? You don't care too much about getting hit now. On the other hand, if he hits you, he has to expose himself in these kinds of positions. So you just don't want to play 9-4, which would just, I don't know, put the checker here. Does nothing. You go out, you have fun. Well, your opponent is in trouble, that's why you have fun, but
What's
we
the
don't.
second best play?
It's 9-4, yeah, I don't know.
What about
39, 23, 22.
Okay, okay, good point. 39, 23, 22, that's not going to be good because 13 point in these positions is like the key. Like once you've got all the checkers here, right? And then you are stuck right here. So if you basically if you destroy your 13 point, your opponent will be able to control all of this somehow. So you destroy this, you give your opponent power. If he rolls a 1, if he just comes out here, he will have all this. So basically for you, it will be extremely difficult to get these checkers around. So good point, good question. But yeah, I have no idea how that thing works, so maybe, yeah, I will not touch that. So 2-1. So now, again, he doesn't have an anchor, but now I'm going to ask you what we just talked about. Based on what we talked about, what would be your play in this position? It's a failed close-out position, right? So many pips ahead. What's our goal? What we just summarized is our goal. How would you, so how would you play?
13-10.
Okay, good. So exactly, you don't play 9-8-6, right? Because it doesn't achieve anything. So we know that we want to break the 13 because, first of all, we don't care about getting hit. It's a failed closeout position. He doesn't have anything. We will have so many return shots. It's going to be great. So great point of breaking the 13. So we play 13-11. And now, if we go back to analyzing individually the position, do we want to play 11-10, 8-7, or 3-2? How to decide? Now we have to look specifically for the numbers. So if we play 13-10, let's say, so 5-1 works for him, 5-2, not much, 5-3 works for him, 5-5, 5-6. Basically, all the 5s will work for him. If we play, let's forget 3-2, if we play 8-7, well, 5-1, okay, it's still the same. 5-2, if he hits, well, I mean, we will have a bunch of return shots. 5-4, 5-5, now it's great. And 5-6 is duplicated. So we are kind of duplicating everything. And yes, that's why we can do it. But great point, because as we can see, well, we can't see, but 13-11 is all just, that's a good choice. That's the big picture. Then what we want to analyze is the rest. And well, the way how to look at it is specifically for the numbers which matter. And by playing something else, we will just give him extra numbers. If we play 3-2, we give him 5-3 extra good, because 5-2 is kind of duplicated that it hits. So again, big picture first, analyzing the position the second. Now the last position, as I promised, because yes, everything before could have been easy or was easy. Now the 6-1. So I'll let you think and think about the questions. What do you prefer if you know that your opponent is gonna dance, and that you know that if you know that your opponent is going to enter? I'll give you 20 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, whatever. But think about this. Here's the pip count. You don't need it, but yeah. So I know, well, so raise your hand if your move is hitting on the 7, let's say 13-7 and then either 7-6, 9-8, whatever. If your move is 13-7 hitting. Good, 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 good. Good. So, yeah, so, I mean, hitting on a 7, well, if he enters, we are not, good, Tim. If he would hit on the 7, if he enters, it's not good at all. If he doesn't enter, we've still got so much work to do. I mean, because we will play 13-7, 7-2-6 to minimize blots. So if he dances, our position is not powerful, right? I mean, it's powerful, it's great, of course, but we still have so much work to do. Despite when we play 9-2, first of all, again, if he enters, okay, he entered and we are unlucky. But if he doesn't, we just won. I mean, we're gonna close, make the deuce, we're gonna hit the 7. And again, this is kind of a natural move on the first look. But again, once we see deep into it, well, now we understand, again, this is the thing. We are confident that this is the right move because of the things we just mentioned. This is not guessing. This is not, okay, we should hit in the outfield because it gives him more pips or some kind of thing like that. No, we know what matters, and that's the only thing what matters here, and that's why it's so important. So, yes. So many bumps, huh? Not good at presentations. So, review. So what we talked about in most cases was the risk reward, right? I mean, that's the common theme to everything in backgammon. We just want to have a way, our own way, fun way, not crazy mathematics. Again, what we did was basically asking ourselves questions and feeling emotions, not analyzing how many numbers hit, how many don't. No. I mean, in some cases, it's important, but it's not like, I mean, everything can be explained in this way. Then we were looking for implications which make sense. I mean, as you can see, if he hits, we want to have that. If he doesn't hit, we want to have that. That's all we can feel, right? It's nothing too difficult in these cases. Some positions are, that's why we blunder. And then learning about individual ideas, like we had that failed closeouts, right? I mean, it's important to learn about it because, for example, I don't know, maybe you would find the right play anyway. But again, now when we introduced failed closeouts, once you have a match now, you know that this is a failed closeout position, you know what to focus on. And you will, I mean, again, as I promised at the beginning, you will feel confident about this because you will know what's right. And more importantly, you know why it's right. And that's just the most important thing. That's why we can play fast. That's why we can make quick, confident. And that's why I want to play super speed gammon on the next tournament here. So as the last thing, I'd just like to introduce Backgammon coaching, as I've got 3 video courses, which are basically there are positions and topics what we just discussed. Basically, failed closeouts was maybe one of 20 topics in I think advanced course, which what I talk about there. And you can find in each course like 20, 25 videos about these kind of topics what we just talked about. Today, it was 1 or 2 topics. But this is basically backgammon curriculum which I put up, which I spend a lot of time on, which is, I feel like I can take an intermediate player and I give him everything, all the knowledge just to have, work with it. So even basically somebody who just starts will at the end have all the knowledge what any world-class player have and maybe even more. Cube action still in preparing. So if you want to look at it, check out backgammoncoaching.com and you will find your answer, or you can just text me or whatever. Oops, where's that? Okay, here. So think about the future, good luck, and thank you so much for the attention.